Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang show. It is episode 22. Eric, this episode is going to be one of my favorites because we will be talking about the Montreal Canadiens versus the Toronto Maple Leafs series. And of course, we will be looking at round 2 of the NHL Playoffs and predicting or giving our predictions and our thoughts. But first, as always, Eric, this episode is brought to you by Chtib Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the NBA while you're watching your favorite teams and watch them make you some money. Chtib is matching your initial deposit as a bonus. So get Chtib Fantasy app now for sure. Of course, during the playoffs too.
It's so much more fun.
Definitely more amusing to bet money in the playoffs.
Exactly.
So definitely get into Chtib Fantasy if you want to start making some quick money on the NBA. Of course, even if you know your stuff and you're a pro. But as always, Eric, roll it! Back to the Chtib Zhang show. It is episode 22. Eric, what a night. We are filming this directly after the Montreal Canadiens.
Hey!
They come back down from 3-1 in the series to win it in Game 7. With a score of 3-1 versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Eric, all right, we have a lot to break down.
A lot. Yeah.
Before we start off, Eric, I have an apology to make because last episode, as many of you know, I said the series was over. I said the Leafs were going to win it, and I said it was over. Obviously, by the looks of it at the time, the first 4 games happened. Montreal won Game 1 2-1. Toronto came back 5-1. And then believe they had a shutout 4-0 in Game 3.
And then it was like 4-1,
I think, or 2-1 they won Toronto or something like that. Anyway, they had like 5-1 and then 4-0. They played back-to-back. And Montreal scored 4 goals in 4 games. So there weren't any improvements or any optimism that they're kind of showing me during the games for me to make me believe that this team could pull it off. Like if the games were close, there were 1-goal leads, whatever, in OT, the first 4 games. And I would have been like, okay, I see sparks of the Montreal Canadiens. Exactly. They're playing with the Maple Leafs. They're able to play with their momentum and the superstars. Then I would have said, this series isn't over. But man, those 4 first games, they didn't show me anything. So I said the series was over. And then Game 5, Game 6, they get back-to-back. First of all, the Montreal Canadiens, for those who didn't know, are the first team in NHL history to cough up multi-goal leads in a playoff game and then win it in overtime in consecutive games. They're the first team. That's a weird stat. That's a fun stat, for sure. But they go back-to-back, Game 5, Game 6. They win in OT, and then they head in Toronto, Game 7. And Eric, man, that line of Philip Deneau, Jacob, Brendan Gallagher. I mean, let's remember, Thomas Tatar was a healthy scratch.
Exactly.
Game 6 and Game 7. Thomas Tatar. This was a guy who came into Montreal's first year. He had a career high 65 points. He didn't look himself in the playoffs, wasn't really generating any offense. And then they scratched him. Jake Evans was back healthy. And man, Jake Evans, Eric, this guy is so underrated in the
Montreal. He's made for the playoffs, man. I'm telling you.
Montreal lineup. This guy has proven or has earned his spot in the playoffs.
For sure.
I don't see him getting scratched anytime against Winnipeg or anything like that. He's transcending into that two-way player, that really well-made two-way player.
Oh, for sure.
He's great. He was great against McDavid when Deneau was out. I remember during the regular season where that line scored like 3 goals for the Montreal Canadiens. He was able to shut down McDavid. And now with Philip Deneau, they were able to shut down Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, who had a disappointing series, Eric. And this is a big reason why the Toronto Maple Leafs unfortunately lost in Game 7. Is because their superstars did not show up. Austin Matthews had 1 goal. Mitch Marner had 0 goals. He had like 1 point.
Yeah.
So the stars didn't show up. Is there a similar tale that I see in the playoffs where that same thing happened? Oh, wait, that's right. The Edmonton Oilers, the same thing happened to them where their stars got shut down. So pretty much a copycat Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers. The Leafs, it seems like, Eric, they've proven that they cannot win with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, who are $20-something million of your cap or of your salary, basically. They can't get it done. It's been a few years now. A couple years against Boston.
A couple
years against Boston. They lost to Columbus, embarrassingly. and then they lose to the Montreal
No,
Canadiens.
they just can't finish. That's what the thing is. They just don't like. They lack like they just choke. Like they're just in their own heads. Like I don't think it's talent. Like they have all the talent. They have probably arguably the most talented teams, or second most. Like they have one of the most talented teams, but
in the NHL for sure.
It's just It's something about like their mentality. They don't go into like they just choke it.
As the regulars. Yes, for sure. They're definitely the regular season is definitely a different league than the NHL playoffs for sure. There's probably games in the regular season where nobody's hitting, and that gives space for Matthews and Marner to do their thing, skate around. But in the playoffs, it's a different story. Everyone is hitting. Yeah. Everyone is checking you. Everyone's gonna shadow you like every minute, and that's why it made it hard for Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, especially Mitch Marner, a guy who I think is the most important player to the Toronto Maple Leafs. You might say it's Austin Matthews. I say it's Mitch Marner. I think Mitch Marner drives the offense on that line in Toronto. And when he can't get going, then Matthews can't really get going because they're that dynamic duo. Of course, the Maple Leafs, Eric, they were missing John Tavares. They missed Jake Muzzin in Game 7. Unfortunately, two big pieces to their team. Jake Muzzin being arguably, in my opinion, their best shutdown defenseman. And John Tavares, of course, as we know, he's a great player. But injuries derailed them. The Leafs, as always, Eric, choke in round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, first of all, I have to say sorry. I apologize to the Montreal Canadiens. This is my live apology to the Montreal Canadiens because they proved me wrong. I doubted them. A lot of people doubted them. A lot of the analysts doubted them, and they proved everyone wrong, Eric. And going into this Winnipeg series, like I would love the Canadiens to beat the Jets, but hey, listen. Just beating the Leafs alone and coming back.
Anything. Anything's
so
up from
satisfied. Here. That's like my Stanley Cup.
Oh, 100%.
So just beating the Leafs. I mean, how could you call this an old time rivalry? I don't understand how you can call this an old time rivalry anymore.
It's more of like because it's the two biggest cities in Canada, right? Yeah. And even like I'm a Detroit fan. Like I don't even like the Montreal Canadiens, but in this series, like there's not a team I hate more than Toronto Maple Leafs. Like who doesn't hate the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially if you're Montreal?
Exactly.
Like they're always talking about Toronto Maple Leafs this, Toronto Maple Leafs.
I mean, this is how I go ahead. Finish. Yeah, they talk about the Leafs like you're saying
all the time. Like you go on any hype it up. Sportsnet, everything. They're Toronto this, and then they don't even talk about the other teams. And then now they're out. Now all the other teams are going to get more attention. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. You make a good point. This rivalry has been fueled by the media, Eric. Let's look back at the history. Let's look back at the history. Yeah. You know what it's been? It's been this. It's been Montreal Canadiens having a grasp of the Toronto Maple Leafs in their hand, and it's this. That's been it in the past years, the 70s, the 60s.
Exactly, always.
If it wasn't Toronto, it was Detroit. Like this media, these Toronto, Ontario-born media personnel, these analysts who were born in Toronto and they grew up Leafs fans and had their dreams crushed by the glory years of the Montreal Canadiens, now fueled up this rivalry, I call it this made-up rivalry because realistically, there is no rival. When's the Montreal Canadiens and Toronto Maple Leafs, when's the last time they were in the playoffs? 1979?
Exactly.
The Leafs last won the Cup in 1967? It's been like 30-something years since these teams last faced in the playoffs. It's not like a Montreal-Boston series where they faced the playoffs in 2014, now went to Game 7, and they have like a crazy playoff history back in the days.
Exactly.
But this rivalry, Eric, there is no rivalry. There's no rivalry between the Montreal Canadiens and Toronto. It's
even
done.
after
Toronto
this.
beat them in 1970. I mean, Montreal beat them in 1979 in 5 games or something, or 4 games, I think it was. God. And they beat them this year in 7. There's no rivalry anymore. There's no such thing as a Toronto-Montreal rivalry. Just because there's no evidence to support. The regular season, they play in the Atlantic Division. Who cares? They last played in 1979 in the playoffs. You can't grow a rivalry based off the regular season. Come on.
And especially after this, like Montreal is the Canadian city. Like it's the hockey town of Canada for sure. Like Montreal, like especially after this, like Toronto, like there's literally no competition. Like Toronto's a joke right now. Like I'll be honest, like I wouldn't be surprised. Like I feel so bad for like Toronto fans, especially like.
I love this. This is a dream.
I know.
I love seeing. I go on the Toronto Maple Leafs Instagram and I read the comments and I laugh at them. I laugh, Eric, because it brings me such joy to see Leafs fans suffering. It brings me so much joy.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, Leaf fans, they're kind of the worst because they're the loudest ones.
I mean, Habs are
they
as
have
worse as them, but
no, but
our
I
team
know what you
won.
mean. But at least, Montreal wins. They back it up. They've been underdogs a bunch of times, and they prove it. Least when they're underdogs, they just suck, and when they're
No, when
supposed to win,
when
they
they're the
lose.
top dogs, they suck. When
Yeah,
they're the
even
top dogs, they suck.
exactly. But when they're the top dogs, they suck. When they're at the bottom, they suck. Montreal, if
suck
you're at the
whenever.
bottom, they could surprise teams from time to time. You know what I mean?
And that's
Like,
where we get into our next point. They surprise teams,
Exactly.
Eric. Do you know why? Because of this guy
Exactly.
right here.
yeah.
Carey Price, playoff Carey Price. Eric, there is no goaltender in the NHL right now that is better than playoff Carey Price.
Oh, playoff,
Don't
100%.
exist. There's
Exactly.
no goaltender in the league better than playoff Price. And yes, he is the reason we came back, Eric. He is the reason.
Exactly.
Talk about Dominic Ducharme. I don't want him to get the head coach tag and no more interim. Keep the interim head coach. He is the only reason we are still in this.
Exactly.
He stopped 13 shots in OT in Game 6. Kept the team, gave the team a chance. They scored in overtime and had a amazing, one of his best games I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Price.
exactly.
One of his best games I've ever seen in Game 7 to beat the Leafs. Carey Price, playoff Carey Price won us this series. Hopefully he can do it again. But he was amazing. I mean, Eric, there were stretches in the series where the Habs would score, and then for the rest of the game they wouldn't do anything. They would maybe have 3 shots, 4 shots on net, and it would be this guy who would be holding the lead for us. So kudos to Carey Price because he won us this series.
Yeah, and Carey Price does get it. Oh, everyone's like, oh, he's overpaid, 10.5 million. But like, if you look at it, like this guy's always show up in the playoffs. Like last year, obviously the team wasn't that good. Even the year before that,
he wasn't scoring, no goals.
Don't forget, like when they made the conference finals, that was Carey Price, and then Carey Price got injured. Like if they had Carey, that probably would have been a difference.
Against
you know
New
what
York
I mean?
Rangers,
like, he's always show up in the playoffs. Like that's if you pay a player a lot of money, you want them. Like you obviously regular season matters, but like if they show up in the playoffs, that's all that matters. That's why everyone's ripping on Toronto because they're paying all these big players and they're not showing up in the playoffs. Like what's the point of paying like Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner a bunch of money if you're gonna have like Kotkaniemi outscoring them?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. If Carey Price wants to take his sweet ass time in the regular season and take time off to show up like this
exactly.
in the playoffs, I'm all for it, man. As long as they get in and he shows up like that, because look, it proves to go. Montreal was the 4th seed in the North. They had like what, a 16-point differential between them and Toronto. It doesn't matter in the playoffs as long as you get in and have playoff Carey Price in your crease. You most like it, and he's proved it. You have the advantage. He has proved it. If you have playoff Carey Price in net, you have the advantage. And he has clearly proven that this series because, like I said, he's had no goal support really this series. Montreal, like I've said, have been on their heels at times when Toronto has scored on them, and they can't muster any offense when Carey Price has saved their backs. So, like I said, an embarrassment for the Leafs. What happens now to the Leafs in the offseason, Eric? I mean, what?
I don't even want to hear it. Like, I always hear this hype every year. Oh, this is our year. They make so many transactions, like, and even like I like we were talking about like over like the Leafs they're such a good team this year, but like, come on, like you have to be able to. They get all these players. They got John Tavares for free. Like they get all of this stuff, and they can't do anything with it. Like it's so sad. Like come on, like,
for sure.
Like they really cheated their way to the play. Like they got so many freebies, and they still couldn't make it happen. Like come on.
Let me tell you this: Toronto did lead the league in penalties. Given to them, they led the league. Sorry, and basically during the Toronto, they're a great regular season team, Eric. Yeah, for sure. When teams are not hitting, like I said, and it's that regular season atmosphere, and it gives more space to these skill talent players. Yeah, they're a great team. They got Joe Thornton. They had Jason Spezza. They added Wayne Simmons. They tried to get their team grittier, bigger. They added TJ Brody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're not going to have your star players show up, it doesn't matter. Don't expect Joe Thornton, Jason Spezza, and all that to lead your team in Game 7. Great. It's great to have vet experience. Like you saw Corey Perry score in Game 7. Like it's great to have vet experience so they can get their better players right in that mentality, right? To get them ready for Game 7. That's what Joe Thorne and Jason Spezza's job was. But it doesn't matter. If your top guys won't show up, you can't expect these vets to put
what I really like about this series especially is as we usually like Montreal is a team that takes the dumb penalties. Like Montreal is known for taking, but they
undisciplined for sure.
And Mitch Marner, remember Mitch Marner is like they started getting their ones and they took bad penalties. And because Montreal's, if you think about it, they're a really good 5-on-5 team.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good on the 5-on-5, and the only reason they're not as good usually is because they're not on the power play that often, and they're always on a 4-on-5, and which makes it tough on them, right? But this time it was Toronto, and man,
For sure.
I'm so happy. Like, I'm happy to be in Montreal right now. I'll be honest.
Yes, for sure. What was I going to say? You brought up a good point about the
penalties.
Yes. Going into Game 7, Toronto was actually outscoring Montreal 5-on-5 at even strength. And more goals going into this Game 7. It's Toronto's power play, which boggles my mind that this power play did not show up in this series. It did not show up. One thing I was frightened of going into the series, I said, remember it was like a few episodes back, I said, listen, Montreal's going to be undisciplined like they were during the regular season. Toronto's going to get all these power plays. They're gonna win. Man, they still got all their goddamn power plays that they wanted, and they did not score on them. Their power plays sucked, and that's what cost them the series. And for the reason I keep pointing like this to the side is because my TV's here, and
you're watching.
They're replaying the Montreal-Toronto game right now.
Yeah,
and I keep pointing at them. That's why. But yes, their special teams did not show up. Montreal special teams, yes, you could say they showed up.
Their power play showed up.
Their power play was better than Toronto's. Their penalty kill was better than Toronto's, and carey price showed up basically. So yeah, that's a big bonus.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's all I have against the Leafs. Basically, I said my apology. I doubted this team. I apologize for sure. Hopefully they can keep this up in Winnipeg. I don't want them to just like hit a stump now and totally give up. It is a grueling series. They played 7 games. They play on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough. Hopefully Montreal goes in there with the same momentum, or maybe they'll be burnt out because they played a 7-game series against the Maple Leafs and Winnipeg swept the Jets. So they've been waiting for a while now. Speaking of that series, Eric, we're done with this Leafs Habs talks. There's nothing to talk about.
There's nothing to talk about.
No reason to mention the Leafs again and give them that attention. Let's move on to round 2 of the NHL playoffs, Eric, which is now officially underway with Montreal winning. Vegas, Colorado, they played game 1. Boston Islanders, they played 2 games. Carolina, Tampa, they played 1 game. So Colorado leads Vegas 1-0. Boston, New York is now tied after tonight. Yeah. Tampa leads Carolina 1-0. We've done this before. We're always late with the round predictions. It's okay.
Exactly.
Thankfully, Montreal, Winnipeg, 0-0.
Exactly.
Let's start in the West, Eric. Vegas, Colorado. Colorado came out buzzing game 1. What was it, 7-1, I think? I mean, they had a 10-minute power play. Ryan Reeves is suspended now for 2 games. Mm-hmm. And Colorado just looked great in game 1. Let's talk about Vegas, Eric. Marc-Andre Fleury started round 1 against the Minnesota Wild. That went to game 7.
Yeah.
Vegas decides to start Robin Lehner in
big mistake.
game 1 of Colorado. Now, I'm looking at it. At first, I was like, what the heck? This makes no sense. Yeah. And then I tried to reason as the coach. I was trying to think like I'm the coach. I'm like, listen, Fleury did play a best of 7, right? He played 7 games. Mm-hmm. No one expected the Minnesota Wild to do that. So, yeah, maybe we can give him some time off.
One rest. Yeah, he's 36 years old. Yeah, give him one game.
No, you never do that, Eric.
No, I know.
Always ride the hot goaltender. Marc-Andre Fleury in the playoffs. Does nobody know his numbers? Can someone pull up?
I know.
Can someone pull
but
up
don't forget, Robin Lehner is a very good goaltender too. But he was
ice cold. This guy's
exactly. You can't just throw it. You can't just throw him in the second round.
He had a bad game. I mean, Colorado was all over Vegas, but he let in some weak goals. He did let in some weak goals, but still, like, would it have been different with Marc-Andre Fleury? I don't know. I think Colorado still wins that game.
Yeah,
I still think Colorado wins that game.
Yeah, Colorado wins it, but it wouldn't be as big of a difference.
Obviously,
for sure.
As you know, Marc-Andre Fleury for sure is starting game 2. I don't even need to find out.
Yeah.
So Colorado leads 1-0, Eric. Still one more game in Colorado. Who do you think's winning the series?
I'll be honest. I love this Colorado team. Like, this is I watch these games. Colorado is so good. Like, they're always like, they have so many players that could score whenever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they have so many, their offensive talent, like their defense, like they move the puck so well. They have Grubauer, who's one of like the best goalies in the league right now, which is really good for them. But and they're missing Kadri too. He's suspended
8 games.
8 games on who did he hit? I forgot who he hit.
Who he hit, but it was a dirty hit.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine that Kadri too, because Kadri's a big playoff guy. So once he comes back, they'll probably be even better. But I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado wins it all this year, but let's not go that far. But let's focus on this series. I have Colorado winning. I'd say six games, I believe. Vegas is a really deep team. Like they don't have any weaknesses. Yeah,
exactly.
But what they showed me against Minnesota, they showed that
vulnerability.
Vulnerability for sure. Like, come on, Minnesota is a good team, but if you compare Minnesota to
I don't
Colorado,
think I did say it was going to be a long series because I thought Minnesota was a good team. But then again, as the Vegas Golden Knights, you cannot let that go to Game 7.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You have to close that out, man.
And then it was pretty surprising to see Colorado sweep St. Louis for sure, though. Like in 4 games, that was quick, easy. Like
for sure.
Like that was very impressive. I'm not gonna lie, because St. Louis is a really good team too. So I'm really impressed with Colorado. Love their team, and I think they're gonna win in 5. Yeah, probably 5-6.
So this is my thought process. I mean, you had the McKinnon line face off against the St. Louis line against Ryan O'Reilly, one of the best two-way
players
defensively. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay. Obviously Nathan McKinnon made quick work of Ryan O'Reilly's line. They didn't do anything against them.
Yeah.
You look at this Vegas first line, you got Mark Stone, who's one of the best two-way wingers, probably the best two-way winger in the league. And then you got Max Pacioretty, I think, on that line, and Stevenson. Anyway, if that line has no answers for Nate McKinnon's line, then it's over. The series is done. Vegas, they have all the pieces. They got the forward groups. They got the defense. They got the goaltending, right? But 5-on-5, if you can't contain Nate McKinnon's line, you are going to lose every single time if you can't figure these guys out. And Game 1, and of course, like you said, the St. Louis series, Game 1, all that it shows me is that no one can stop these guys.
Exactly, yeah.
St. Louis can't stop them. Ryan O'Reilly can't stop them. Mark Stone, it's only been 1 game, but I'm showing early signs. I'm going off the Game 1. They had no answers for Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Gabriel Landeskog, and that's on top of 3 other good lines at the Colorado Avalanche.
Really good lines, yeah.
Like I said, Kadri, he's spending 8 games. He's not going to play in this series.
Yeah, but they still have Andre Burakovsky, Tyson Yost, Soderberg, so many good 40, 50-point guys, just really solid players that get the job done.
Like you, I'm going to go Colorado. I'm going to go Colorado in 6 as well.
Fair.
Colorado in 6 as well. I mean, unless Vegas shows me that they can contain this line, then I will have hope. But if 5-on-5, they torch that first line and no one can stop Nate McKinnon, because, I mean, you look at all the two-way centers on that team. You got William Karlsson. You got Mark Stone, who's there. And then who else? Who you pinpointing out? After that, it's kind of there's really no gritty checking centerman or forward that shuts their best players down. Really?
Yeah.
So if that Mark Stone line can't shut them down, I'm taking Colorado. So let's move on to the Boston Islanders series. It is 1-1. It is now a best of 5. And Islanders split in Boston. Now they're headed back to the Coliseum in New York, Manhattan, for Game 3. Eric, I had Boston. Moving on from the Washington Capitals, you had the Capitals.
Washington, I know.
Do you believe in the Boston Bruins now that they proved you wrong, or are you going with the Islanders?
I'll be on, because this one's tough, right? Because I think in the other one I also had Pittsburgh, so
Pittsburgh.
I think it's a 0-for-2 there.
You are,
but that the thing there is, so many times there's so many years I'm always Islanders I think they're gonna lose first round, and then they win, and even a couple years ago when they beat Pittsburgh, I forgot who they. But they're always they always get to the second round for some reason. And bro, it's just so tough to pick Islanders over Boston, right? Because if you look at all the players Boston have, they have talent. And I watched a bit of the game because Montreal, during the breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, those are that's a good series. There's so much action, so much hitting. Oh, I love it. Yeah. There's nothing better than I know we're in Montreal, but there's nothing better than Boston in playoffs. They're always hitting. They play so physical. They play well. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But fuck. Where am I going? I'm gonna go with Boston. Boston in 7. I'm pretty confident this is going 7. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I do think this is going 7 as well.
Because
I really do.
I was watching the game, and the first period, like, Boston had control, but second period, Islanders scored 3 goals, like, just like that.
And then give up
Like,
2, and then it's 3-3
exactly.
to go to OT.
And how big is Beauvillier for them? Like, he's been,
Oh yeah,
Beauvillier's been really good, and it just shows like the Islanders, Barry Trotz, like, he's got this team under control, and he's been getting the system under control. So I think Boston, I know their defense is a little shaky, but I think they're often makes up for it. Tuukka Rask, I think they had Halak playing today. I'm not sure, but if their goaltending was a little,
Tuukka Rask, right?
You sure? Because I'm pretty sure I heard
someone say Halak. Why the heck would Halak be starting?
Bro, I swear I heard Halak today. Wait. Give me 2 seconds.
No, it was Rask. What are you saying?
Oh, yeah, it was Rask. Okay.
Why the heck would he be in there?
I don't know. Because I think I heard Gabe say Halak. So I was like, okay. So this is Gabe's fault. Okay. My bad. But yeah, Rask. But like, Rask needs to be a little more solid. Like I don't know. Because do you believe in Rask? Like, he's been there sometimes, but
yeah, I do believe Rask is a elite goaltender in this league. The thing that scares me though is because when I had the Islanders against the Pittsburgh Penguins, one of the biggest things is why I took the Islanders because of the goaltending of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, remember I said Pittsburgh Penguins don't have the goaltending to win this matchup.
Exactly, yeah.
And New York, not a big scoring team, right? They kind of have Matt Barzal on a leash. Barry Trotz kind of has him on a leash. He doesn't want to let him go. We're not really seeing. I just want him to flourish. I mean, Matt Barzal he's one of the best skaters in this game.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When it comes to hands too, and just the raw talent. And Barry Trotz has him on a leash and doesn't want to get him go because every time New York's going to win, I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game. And you know what that means? That means you're shutting down Pasternak, Marchand, Taylor Hall, and that's a tough thing to do every night. Islanders, they went to 6 against Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Boston 7 as well. I mean, I find it too hard to shut down Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. I find it too hard to shut them down. So I think Rask is a great goalie. I think Boston, the Islanders going to have trouble scoring on him more than Yari, of course. Tristan Jarry. So I'm going to take Boston purely because of their offense. And I feel like it's going to be a challenge for New York to shut that down. I really do.
That's fair.
So that series is going 7 for me. Let's go to Carolina, Tampa, Eric. Carolina coming off Game 7, was it? Did they go to Game 7?
Game 6. Game 6.
Yeah. Yes. Game 6 against Nashville.
But a really close series for sure. Really, it was very entertaining.
And Tampa Game 6 as well in Florida. Tampa has already won the first game. It is 1-0, Eric. But Eric, I'm Tampa to the final. Tampa is going to the finals this year. I mean, they are going to the final. They are $30 million over the cap space. They are going to beat Carolina purely because they're cheating. No, but seriously, they have Kucherov back. They still have fucking Tyler Johnson somehow, Killorn, all these guys. They're able to keep them. David Savard is now on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is too good. Carolina, it seems like you said in the other series of, I forget who was it, but the vulnerability, that's like the key word. Carolina was, exposed by Nashville.
Exactly.
So, and I like Tampa's goaltending more than Carolina, and I like the offense better. I like their defense better. They're better 5-on-5. They're better in special teams. So, I'm gonna say Tampa in 6.
Okay, but because this is how I look at it. Because literally, Carolina, like, come on, how do you let like Forsberg is good, but like Forsberg, like Nashville's forwards aren't even that good. Like, and you let them go to Game 6. Like, imagine what Tampa's gonna do to you. You know what I mean? Like, Tampa.
And listen, it was a close Game 1. It was 2-1. It was very close.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like the floodgates will soon open for Tampa.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Carolina does have a really good team.
Yes, they do.
And I believe what's Alex Jekovic,
Nedeljkovic,
he's been really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go Tampa. I think it's quicker than I think it's gonna go 5 or 5-6. I'd say 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 5.
Okay, well I didn't doubt, or sorry, I didn't want to doubt Carolina that hard.
I know,
Carolina's still a good team. They have the offense, they got the defense.
I know, but if I have to make a prediction, I'd say Tampa.
It
in
could
5.
very well be in 5 if if it just goes purely matchup versus matchup.
I really love Carolina's team for sure though, because man, Carolina. If you look at their team, like they have a lot of weapons. Like Vincent Trocheck been showing up. Martin Necas.
A lot of depth players. Martin Necas, yeah, Nino Niederreiter. The list goes on, and then you got Aho, Svechnikov.
Yeah, even
Puevo Teravainen's back.
Teravainen, exactly.
So yeah, I mean their team is complete on the forward and defensemen too. They got Jacob Slavin, one of the best shutdown defensemen. Dougie Hamilton, power play specialist. He's a big body too. But like I said, Tampa is just too good. I mean, they like I said, they're not an eligible playoff team technically because there's no salary cap in the playoffs.
Exactly.
They were able to get Kucherov back and be able to keep all these players. So,
but how entertaining would a Tampa Colorado final be? And it might happen. Like that'd be such a good final. I'll be honest. If that does happen,
that just means that you just suggested that Montreal wouldn't be there. That Montreal wouldn't come out of the North.
Okay, is that how you're seeing it?
If Montreal came out of the North, wouldn't be Colorado. I listen. Montreal Colorado is not even a thing yet. Probably won't be a thing. But you'd be surprised.
Doesn't Tampa meets Montreal?
No, Tampa meets Boston.
Is that how? Are you sure?
The winner of the North is facing Colorado Vegas.
Okay, because how I saw the bracket when I was doing my thing. Yeah. No, I saw Tampa. Are you sure?
No, so Tampa Carolina faces Boston Islanders. Montreal Winnipeg faces Colorado Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Montreal Colorado, Philip Deneau. That's all I gotta say. Philip Deneau. So anyway, moving on. You have fair. Tampa and 5. I have Tampa and 6.
Yeah.
Let's go to Montreal Winnipeg, Eric. Montreal coming off a Game 7 win, like we just said today. They have a day off tomorrow, and then boom, Wednesday they're in Winnipeg in the whiteout for Game 1. Eric, Carey Price versus Connor Hellebuck. Obviously, playoff Price asterisk versus Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck was great in the series against
Winnipeg, for sure.
Edmonton. But Eric, I will not let the Edmonton series influence how Winnipeg will play against Montreal because the Edmonton Oilers are a shitty playoff team. And as soon as you figure out how to shut down McDavid and Draisaitl like the Jets clearly did, it's over. The series is over. Montreal did it in the regular season. They would have done it in the playoffs if they faced them. So Winnipeg sweep, yeah, sure they were down 4-1 in the third, but since Game 1 they figured out McDavid. It was done from then on. McDavid had no answers. So I didn't think they were going to sweep, but they sure figured out McDavid really well. And yeah, Winnipeg, very, very good top. I think Winnipeg's top 6 is way more dangerous than Toronto's top 6. Yeah. Obviously, their defensemen aren't as good, but they have the better goaltender too. So, Eric, I think this is going to be another Game 7.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think this is going Game 7 once again. Montreal, listen, I don't know how they're going to come out in Game 1, if they're going to come out tired or they're going to come out, playing off the momentum of winning in Toronto, closing that series. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll just have to find out Game 1 because Shea Weber and Jeff Petrie played some heavy minutes in Game 6. They played Game 7. They tried to play him less. Shea Weber only got like 22 minutes, something like that. But I don't know if those two guys are tired. They're very important defensemen right now. They played really well in the Toronto series. So hopefully they come out hopefully they come out conditioned well. And same goes with the forwards and everything like that. Yeah. But Eric, Winnipeg's power play is not going to be as bad as Toronto's power play this year. Exactly, it's not going to be as bad.
I know.
You know, Toronto had terrible numbers in the series, and Winnipeg won't have those same numbers.
Yeah,
they have a way more dangerous, I would say, power play than the Leafs. So, like I said, like a few episodes, it comes down to Montreal's discipline. They have to be in the series. They can't let them take penalties and keep the game 5-on-5 because Montreal is a better team than Winnipeg 5-on-5, I believe. I'm not going to jinx anything, but knock on wood, Mark Scheifele hasn't really showed up against the Montreal Canadiens during the regular season. So hopefully they can keep that game plan going that they have against Scheifele or whatever. But I mean, Nick Ehlers is back for the Winnipeg Jets. They look like a completely different team when he's in the lineup. I mean, he's slowly becoming one of the best wingers in the league. So they get him back. And then, like I said, I think this is going to come down to Carey Price, the X factor.
Yeah, exactly.
I really believe he's going to go to Winnipeg and play like he did in Toronto. So I don't think I have to worry about that much. And if he is, then yeah, it gives Montreal a great chance to win this series for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, though, Montreal doesn't play like they did in the Toronto series.
Mm-hmm.
When they score a goal, can they generate offense after that, or are they just going to be on their heels? Is Winnipeg just going to totally eat them up? You know, like I said in the Toronto series, Montreal has done this a lot. They score and then they don't generate any offense. They get hemmed in the zone. They get saved by Carey Price. They cannot do this against the Winnipeg team. They can't.
But
Not against this top six.
I'm telling you, this is a good matchup for. I think this is a good matchup for Montreal. Mm-hmm. I feel because if you look at the
series was 3-3-3, 3 losses in OT.
I know, but a lot of the games
no
were like,
OT, no 3-on-3 OT. By the way,
but some of these games would be like seven. No, some of them. Remember, there's like a 7.
There was a blowout in Montreal, and then Winnipeg blew us out.
Exactly. It was, but like to be honest, this is a good series, and I wouldn't be surprised if like I think this is gonna be a pretty low scoring series just because of how good the goaltending is on both sides. But it really depends on because I don't think Montreal is going to score as much as they did in the Toronto series just because of Hellebuck. I know the defending is not as good, but I'm telling you, actually no, I take that back because I'm just thinking about
they score in the series right now. They scored 2, then it was 5-1. That's 3. They got shut out 1. I think it was like 2-1, so that's 4. And then game 6 was what? 3, that's 6, and then here's 7, 8, 9. So they scored like 9 goals, I think.
Like if you, this is how I see it. Like the defending for Winnipeg, it really isn't that good. They let Edmonton score a couple goals on them, right? Like
but McDavid somehow didn't. I mean, they played well, but like I said, I don't.
But Hellebuck, if there's something close to Carey Price, it's Hellebuck. Like Hellebuck's are really good. He's always been up there as one of the best goaltenders in the league. Sure. But I'm telling you. It's literally just Carey Price against Winnipeg's offense. That's all it is. Like if Carey Price can shut them down, they could win the series. If Carey Price doesn't play well, they lose the series.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's literally just Carey Price. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
And the way I look at it, Montreal is a rush score team. They score off the rush.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't understand how they wouldn't change their offensive game plan against this team. The Jets' defensive core is not that good. It's not good at all. Yeah, sure, they got Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk's good, but Neil Pionk's not that good defensively. Logan Stanley, he could be a big guy in the corners and stuff, but this guy's not carrying the puck or whatever like that. This guy, they can box these guys in their own zone. Yeah. As long as they can cycle the puck, Eric. Keyword, cycle. Montreal doesn't cycle the puck. And if they cycled the puck down low, they're bigger bodies. Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey are going to have a hard time breaking up those offensive plays. But it just comes down to, is Montreal just going to stick to that rush game plan and just score off the rush? Because, Winnipeg's defenseman can easily stop a rush attack, Eric. It's not that hard. Any defenseman can do it. It's what down low. Toronto did that against Montreal. Down low, and it works really well with them. It turns the puck a lot, or it turns the puck over a lot. And Montreal turned it over a lot in their own end because of that cycle and going down low. So hopefully I want to see that more in Montreal in this series. Cycling the puck, going in the corners, making those small guys get the puck from you, making them force turnovers, and then score off those opportunities, basically.
That's fair. And don't forget, like, do you remember that goal Gallagher scored today? Like, that's not happening on not happening on Hellebuck, man. You're not just going 5-0 on Hellebuck that easy. Like,
exactly.
Like, and because Jack Campbell was if you look at it, he wasn't bad. He was pretty good in the series.
He was bad in Game 7, and he was not that good in Game 6.
But like some of those goals, like there's some garbage goals. Like there's like some tip, like the puck. I don't know. I just don't think this series is really tough to because I'm hearing some bias from Jake. Oh, Jake's telling me Winnipeg's this, and then a bunch of Montreal people but I've seen the Montreal games firsthand, so it's tough because I didn't watch that many Winnipeg games, so that's what I'm saying. Do you have any?
I'll tell you that Montreal has been able to play up to the pace of Winnipeg 5-on-5. They have been able to play with them for sure. It's not like Winnipeg's top six has been eating up the Habs. Like it's I would say it's more of a thing of special teams where Winnipeg has scored on more opportunities than Montreal when it comes to the power play, and that's for sure why they've lost those games. But 5-on-5, they can keep up with the pace. Like don't expect Winnipeg to come in and
don't forget,
dominate.
like if you look at Toronto's a better team than Winnipeg. Toronto faces Winnipeg. I believe
and they
Toronto
beat Toronto, but it's a matchup thing, right? Like
it's
not Winnipeg versus Toronto.
Exactly. I know what you mean. But don't forget, Winnipeg was only a third seed. Like Montreal, like could have like they were that close, but like it was Winnipeg or exactly. So it's not like Winnipeg's that much better and like they're not even that much better. Like I don't even know who's better in this case scenario. Do you have a prediction for this series? What's happening? What do you think?
I think it's going to be Habs in 7.
Okay. Oh yeah, you said already. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's going to be Habs in 7, and yeah, pretty much just they keep the pace 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
Just be disciplined, and please try the cycle. I want to see more cycling of the puck. That is something I would look forward to in game 1. It's just you got to capitalize off the terrible defensive core. I mean, and the size difference, right? You got Josh Anderson who's going to cycle the puck down low. You think Josh Morrissey and Neil Pionk are going to get the puck from him? No. Montreal has a lot of these bigger guys than Winnipeg. So they're able to do that. They just don't cycle the puck. They score off the rush. They're an off the rush scoring team. And that's easy to defend. You know, it's like Josh Morrissey and Neil Pionk. They can stop a rush with stick check and stuff like that. Exactly. They can use their size, capitalize with your size. Use your size, use your big size against them, right?
Exactly.
Cycle the puck. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. And I think if they can do that, if they can figure out a plan to cycle, then Winnipeg's D is going to turn the puck over, and it's going to give Montreal some opportunities. So if they can at least bring that up in the meeting room, in the tape room, whatever, they can look at Winnipeg's tape. They can look at teams. Probably Toronto probably did the same thing against Winnipeg, cycling the puck, and they'll probably look at that. So,
but don't forget they don't have too much time. Like they're playing Wednesday.
They play Wednesday. They probably have an optional skate tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they'll probably Dominic Ducharme and the coaching staff have to get a game plan ready, and I think cycling the puck is one thing they for sure have to look at. It's not, you can't just keep scoring off the rush, right? It's great to score off the rush, but you gotta get zone time. You gotta cycle the puck, force the defenseman to turn the puck over in their own end. That's what Toronto did against Montreal the series. It worked out, and if it wasn't for Carey Price, it would be Toronto Winnipeg right now. So,
but do you think is it more Toronto lost the series or is it more Montreal won this? Like, how would you see it?
Do you think Toronto lost the series for sure?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, like they were up 3-1. And after that, it was just all mental games.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, probably the choking, of the past recent years came to their head after they couldn't close games out. Eric, I've watched the elimination games. There was nothing special in Montreal. Nothing special. I mean, they wanted it more. They proved that they wanted more. They got the dirtier goals, right? They played harder, but at the end of the day, there'd be times in the elimination games where we would score a goal and then we wouldn't get a shot for like 10 minutes. And it'd just be Toronto onslaught. So, Montreal didn't really surprise me. It was Carey Price that really showed up for this team. It really was. I mean, the guy stopped 13 fucking shots in Game 6 overtime, Eric, to keep your team alive. 13 shots. And Montreal capitalized off one mistake, Eric. One mistake Toronto made in OT. They made one mistake, and Montreal capitalized, and it was going to Game 7. So there have been times where the Leafs, I'd say they've dominated way more than the Habs in this series.
Yeah.
Hopefully they fix that and going into Winnipeg. Don't get on your heels after you score a goal. Don't lose the momentum in your favor. You can't go stretches of 15 minutes or a whole period of just pure like on your heels and just getting dominated. You can't. And it could be a possibility. Carey Price might bail him out, might not. Yeah. But I don't want to see it. Just get that mentality. Understand that for sure. One thing that we score a goal, let's not put our foot off the gas pedal, right? Keep it going.
But I'm telling you, this is gonna be a really good series. I don't think it's
gonna be a short series. I think it's gonna be a long series.
And I'm excited with that Jake rivalry. Oh my god.
Rivalry, Jake. Was our first guest on our first episode.
Exactly.
Big Jets fan.
Yeah.
Might not be our friend after this. So
fair. But he's already biking on the street with his flag.
Good, go Jets, go.
And I'll be honest, this series, like, I'm not even gonna make a prediction because I just want to enjoy the series. And
you're not making a prediction. I want to hear you make a prediction because I don't want to hear anything. Montreal sucks. Winnipeg, go make your prediction. You got Winnipeg or Montreal, Eric?
So I have to choose one. I'm sticking.
Make a prediction. You're sticking. You're not jumping the wagon. This is it. Your final prediction.
So I'm making a prediction. And I'm on that team.
No,
okay?
you're not on that team.
I'm on that.
Who do you
team.
think's gonna win?
Just for this series, I think I got Winnipeg. No, that's a lie. No,
That's such a lie. You're going with Winnipeg. You got.
I Winnipeg. I'll go with Winnipeg.
How long do you
Winnipeg in 7.
Okay. I mean, if it's going to a game 7, I have no clue why you would take Winnipeg. Realistically, game 7, you're going against game 7 carry price. You're taking Winnipeg. Might want to say 6. Might want to say Winnipeg and 6.
No, I'm sticking with 7. Like I don't know. I have a gut feeling for this one.
I just don't know how people can take the opposing team against Montreal in a game 7. Like you got this guy dialed in.
Don't forget, like you just because you won a game 7.
Who you taking into game 7? Carey Price or Connor Allen?
Just because you won this game 7 doesn't mean like Montreal doesn't have a bunch of
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna take that series to go 7 games, right? 1 elimination game for both teams. You're not gonna go with Carey Price. I don't know. I'm just gonna look at the stats. But
you still have to score goals. That's what I'm saying.
I know that, but I'd say like more realistic. Like, wouldn't you say Winnipeg in 6? I just feel like if it goes to 7, Montreal's winning this. If it goes to 7, Montreal's winning this. There's no way.
But
I'm knock on wood though.
I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be a really good. I'm excited for this series. Oh my god, it's gonna be
serious. Good Canadian match.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an annoying series with Jake. I'll be honest.
Yep.
But I might have to wear a Jets jersey for this series. I'm not even gonna lie, just because you're getting me rattled a little here.
How am I getting you rattled?
Nah,
whatever. Winnipeg in 7, lock it in. It's all good.
Winnipeg in 7, but I still like Montreal. I'm still like Montreal, but I probably like Montreal. It's so tough. I'll be honest. I'm sticking to my no prediction.
No, you're going Winnipeg in 7. I already locked it in.
You didn't hear it, but
no, it's locked in. Everyone heard it's locked in. Winnipeg in 7 by Eric Zhang. I got Habs in 7. Yeah, basically. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good series, like you said, to watch. A lot of these series are great series to watch. Only good teams left, right? Got all the shitty teams out, especially Toronto.
Exactly.
Fucking playoffs. So thank God. Don't want that trash anymore.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, if we have nothing else to say, Eric, it has been another episode of the Chtib Zhang show. We've talked the Habs series and the NHL playoffs. Next week, probably be talking NHL as well. Maybe the NBA too, Eric. Some playoffs going on there, round 2 for sure. So keep in touch and wait for that episode next Wednesday. And once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.